This is a live Channels television event.
Distinguished colleagues, today is the 2nd of December 2020. With us here is the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom, Wike, CON, GSSROS, POS, the Governor of Rivers State. Your Excellency, welcome to the Chamber of Rivers State House of Assembly. With His Excellency, you have the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Dr. Mrs. Ipalibo Harry Banigo, a woman, a mother that has been given support to His Excellency to deliver on the promises to the people of Rivers State. Your Excellency, welcome to the Chamber of Rivers State House of Assembly. You also have in his entourage the State Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Ambassador Desmond Akawo. Ambassador Desmond Akawo, State Chairman, you are welcome. You also have the former chairman, the immediate past State Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Brother Felix Ogwa. Welcome, sir. You have the Secretary to State Government, Dr. Tami Wenike Danagogo. Welcome. You have the Chief of Staff, Government House, Engineer Emeka Woke. Welcome. You have the former Majority Leader of Rivers State House of Assembly, Dr. Chidi Julius Lloyd. Welcome. This is your home. You have a statesman, a committed member, and a friend to the governor, Chief Ejo Ngwawa. Chief Ejo Ngwawa, you are welcome to Rivers State House of Assembly. I know that following the governor to the chamber, you want to know that see assembly and you see prison. So you will not want to contest and come here. Well, you have cabinet rank commissioners who are also in the entourage of the governor. Let me specially mention the Honorable Isaac Kamalo, who is chairman, who is the commissioner for finance and also supervising the budget ministry. Honorable Isaac Kamalo, you are welcome. In that representative order, let me use you as a point of contact to also welcome other cabinet commissioners who are seated in chamber. Distinguished colleagues, we know why we are here today. It's a special day. Leader, can you make a little presentation before I call on His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, to make his budget speech?
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, before us this afternoon, a man that is known not only in this country but all over the world as a project governor, a man that is putting smiles on the faces of the good people of Rivers State, a man who has taken Rivers State to an enviable height. A man who has, over the years, ensured that appropriation bills passed by this August Assembly are duly implemented. A man who has stunned the entire world with projects that are unimaginable at this time that we have the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Speaker, we have before us His Excellency Nyesom, Wike, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, the pillar of sports Africa, a man who has come here today to once again reassure the good people of the state of what he intends to do in 2021. Mr. Speaker, he's here. I therefore call on you to, in line with our rules and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ask His Excellency to make his speech. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, in all sense of humility and dedication, I therefore call on you this day, the second day of December 2020, to present your budget speech.
Rivers State House of Assembly, principal officers of this great house, and members of the State House of Assembly, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're before this hallowed chamber once again to propose our budget to continue with our efforts to realize our vision as a government and our collective aspirations as a people for a better and prosperous life. We are one people put together and blessed by God with enormous human and natural resources, and provide a good life for our families and a much better future for our children. However, to realize this promise, we must continue to put our differences aside and work together as a people of faith with common destiny under one God. Thank God, our efforts to build a strong, harmonious, and progressive political family for our state is yielding deserved results. Let me therefore appeal to the few remaining members of the opposition to join the One Rivers Happy Family united and working together to better the lives of all our people. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, 5.5 years ago, we started a journey to renew our state and advance the well-being of our people. We promised that we would govern for all, protect everyone from the ravaging economic rains, and do our best to deliver the dividends of democracy to all parts of the state. Today, we have lived up to our duty and commitment, and we are proud of our efforts and achievements thus far. Even our worst critics cannot deny the progress we have recorded in delivering our commitments to our people in infrastructure, education, healthcare, rural development, urban renewal, and others. When I took the second oath of office as governor, following the renewal of our mandate, I promised to work as hard to deliver more quality projects as we were in our first term. 12 months ago, I delivered the first budget proposal of our second time in this very hallowed chamber and promised to continue with the transformation of the state with more roads, bridges, and flyovers to ease transportation and enhance our development. Today, we're here to give some account of our performance with the expiring budget of 2020 and propose a new budget, one that will enable us to continue to serve and advance the best interests of our state and our people for the 12 months budget cycle. But before then, let me thank the Speaker and honorable members of this great State House of Assembly for the cooperation you have always extended to our government and also for your commitment to the progress of our state. When the history of this government is written, I'm sure your names will be boldly mentioned as part and parcel of the successes. And there can be nothing more satisfying than to be acknowledged by our people for your services and contributions to their individual and collective progress. However, our work is not done yet, as we need your cooperation and support for the remaining years of our government. That is why our passion right now is to continue to do our best at every moment and deliver progress with the new budget instrument for fiscal year 2021, which we will shortly lay before the House. Review of budget performance in 2019. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the 2020 budget, Christian recovery and consolidation with a total budget size of 530 billion 813 million 357,619 naira only was signed into law in December 2019. However, the implementation of this budget in its original form was frustrated by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic and its negative impact on the global, national, and state economies. This inevitably necessitated the review of the budget to reflect COVID compliance as directed by the challenging economic realities. Consequently, the 2020 budget was reviewed downwards by about 40% to 370,071,183 naira only. The revised recurrent capital expenditure was fixed at 121,662,028 naira 77 kobo, while the revised recurrent expenditure was 171,409,154 naira 55 kobo only. The budget was to be funded from the state's traditional sources of revenue, including the projected refunds from the federal government on the execution of federal roads. Performance of the 2020 budget. As at the end of October 2020, the total net revenue collected was 226,522,922 naira 45 kobo, representing about 75% overall proportional performance. As expected, while receipts from federal allocations declined, internal generated recorded a net surplus of over 20 billion naira despite the pause placed on the payment of taxes by small businesses. Mr. Speaker, as affirmed in our budget statement, the revised 2020 budget was not targeted at realizing two broad development goals. First, to wither the economic challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic and ameliorate the resultant pains on the people. Second, to deliver as much development projects as possible within the ambit of our priorities and available resources. The records show that the current budget was fully implemented and were up to date in the payment of salaries to workers and pensioners, in addition to meeting overhead and other expenses for ministries, departments, and agencies. The capital budget also recorded over 78% performance, leading to the delivery of several infrastructure projects in roads, education, healthcare, sports, administration of justice, and security. During the period, we started the construction of Okrono Road, Rebisi, GRA Junction, Rumola, and Abali Legacy Flyover projects. We started work on the renewal of all roads and drainage infrastructure in OGRA, Amadi Flats, and Nijuare in Port Harcourt. We also awarded contracts for dualization of Ezimbu to Kan Suarua Road, Tombi Extension to Ikore Road, Forces Avenue, Olumini Street, and Eastern Bypass. The construction of Udoku Internal Roads, Udoku Oyiba Road Bridge, Udoku Amaniwo Road, and Isobo Internal Roads Network, among others, all received substantial funding from this budget. Funds were also released for the construction and reconstruction works at Real Madrid Academy, Western Awura County High School, Government Secondary School, Okaki, Government Secondary School, Ugu, Community Secondary School, Obiabu, Ndoki, Community Secondary School, Kubo, Calabar National College, Buguma, Boni National Grammar School, Boni, Government Secondary School, Abua, Government Comprehensive Secondary School, Burukiri, Editorial High School, Obama High School, Bakana, Community Secondary School, Omawa, Community Secondary School, Obuama, Community Secondary School, Etu, Community Secondary School, Obuama, Vocational Health Center, Abonima, and Community Secondary School, Tombia. We also funded the Mother and Child Hospital as well as the 5 zonal referral hospitals at Ahuda, Bodi, Degema, Ukehi, and Namok to advanced levels of completion. Some other projects that were equally funded include the National Industrial Court Judges Residential Estate, shop protection at Asazaga, Isuku, Oniuku, Obiofu, and the 2 communities, shop protection at Obunabale, sand filling reclamation, Kolas sand filling and reclamation, completion of former Live Bank building, and the construction of bus stops along Port Harcourt, Aba, and the Ikore routes. The following projects have either been completed or will be completed by the end of December 2020 under the 2020 Capital Expenditure Funding. Expanded Real Madrid Academy, the only one of its kind in Africa. Boni BA Waterfront Jetty, Mother and Child Specialist Hospital, Rumeki Alu Road, Elimbu Atali Road, Bolo Community Internal Roads, Sagwa Bori Road Realization, Abonima Ring Road, Eto Semi, Noah Kira Road, Tombia Street Realization, Emeyal Street Nijuare, General Dry Street Nijuare, Amaji Street Nijuare, Ndoni Street Nijuare, Edenemo Street Nijuare, Obagi Street, Obagi Crescent Nijuare, Nzimire Street, and other adjoining streets in Amadi Flat, Jumbo Street, Habad Macaulay Street, Forces Avenue, Biradi Street, Biradi Extension, south of the Peter Audley Close, Woji Road, Opopo Crescent, Isaiah Odolu Street, Omarelu Street, Rimibo Street, Chief Johnson Amadi Street, Ibodo Street, Finima Street, Umapari Street, Azigboro Road, and Ezekiel Street, Hotford, Indiama Street, Harley Street, Olumini Street, and Abana Street. districts are in OGRA and the new GRA, which is what you call the urban renewal. Overall, we are satisfied with the performance of the 2020 budget, as most of the objectives were substantially achieved, even at a very challenging period. We therefore look forward to do much better with the 2021 budget. The state's economic outlook for 2021. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as we all know, Nigeria is currently in its second recession in 5 years, with headline inflation at 14%. However, the federal government had projected that the country will exit recession in the first quarter of 2021. Indeed, the central bank believes that the national economy will even grow by not less than 2% in 2021. As a sub-nationality, Rivers State cannot avoid being affected by the external headwinds of a bad national economy. We can only keep our fingers crossed and expect the federal government to implement the right and necessary policies to rescue the ailing economy from sliding further. But beyond this is the fact that the economy of Rivers State has remained resilient, as evident not only in our capacity to generate more revenues than projected in fiscal year 2020, but also in our ability to fund our expenditure without deficits. While we concede to the volatility of the economy, it is also not in a negative territory at this moment. Rather, our economy is relatively strong and growing with such velocity that a 4 to 5% GDP growth estimate appears realistic for fiscal year 2021 when factored on the back of sustained fiscal consolidation, increasing public sector spending, and the attraction of substantial private investments into the critical sectors of the state's economy. Therefore, the fiscal year 2021 will see the challenging, but our economy is more certain to navigate on a positive economic growth trajectory for much of 2021, insofar as we address the fiscal, policy, and structural constraints that could undermine economic growth. Policy thrust for the year 2021 budget. The 2021 budget will focus on 4 broad priorities: to accelerate economic recovery, drive growth, and create opportunities for social progress, enhance human capital development, and tackle poverty, strengthen our infrastructure base to accelerate economic development, and create a pathway to food security and improve well-being through sustainable mechanized agriculture. Accordingly, the objectives of the 2021 budget includes secure and consolidate inclusive economic progress and achieve a gross domestic product growth rate of 5 to 6%. Drive the development of small and medium-scale enterprises to enhance job creation, economic empowerment, and social progress. Ensure the continuous execution and delivery of more development projects, including roads, bridges, flyovers, healthcare, education, sports, and social welfare projects across the state. Create viable economic platforms and social investment schemes for tackling social exclusion, gender inequality, and mass poverty. Sustain a more business-friendly climate that attracts both domestic and foreign direct investments into the state's economy. Deliver comprehensive access to quality public education and affordable healthcare services for the citizens. And finally, attract and support private sector investment into the development of agriculture to enhance food security. Overall, the measures in the budget will place the state on a stronger economic footing towards achieving the new Rivers vision for a peaceful, secure, inclusive, and prosperous society. Accordingly, the theme for the 2021 budget is recovery and consolidation, funding the 2021 budget. The budget will be funded from the following Federation Accounts and Allocation Committee: 13% Oil Mineral Fund, Internally Generated Revenue, Value Added Tax, the funds from further appraisals and excess crude oil deductions, domestic and foreign credit, as well as grants. The key assumptions of the budget. The key assumptions of the one budget, which are predicted on the 2021-2023 medium-term expenditure framework, are as follows: crude oil benchmark of 35 USD per barrel, crude oil production estimates of 1.8 million barrels per day, exchange rate of 360 to the dollar, and gross domestic product growth rate of 3 to 5%, inflation rate of 11.9%. Budget estimate. Mr. Speaker and distinguished members, we believe that our budgetary estimates should be as realistic as possible. Accordingly, we are proposing a total budget size of 448,660,773,466 naira only for fiscal year 2021. This represents more than 20% increase over the 2020 revised budget of 300 billion only. 2021 recurrent expenditure. The sum of 142,746,489,415 naira, representing 31.82%, has been earmarked as recurrent expenditure for the 2021 fiscal year. Out of this sum, 76,198,906,179 naira only is for personal costs. 18,863,016,430 naira for overheads, and 47,704,560,804 naira only as grants and transfers to the consolidated revenue charges. From inception, this administration has prioritized the payment of salaries and pensions, and I wish to assure our workers, including the proposed 5,000 new enlistment, that they will receive their salaries as at when due in 2021. Ministries, departments, and agencies are also assured of prompt release of overheads to enable them run and deliver services to the people. Furthermore, the increase in the current budget over that of 2020 was also informed by a resolve to fight poverty with increased public spending, social assistance, and investment in targeted empowerment programs. Capital expenditure. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, our administration is noted for the high premium we give to capital expenditure, which is the linchpin for the progress of any nation. We have accordingly projected the sum of 305,894,284,061 kobo, representing 68.18% of the total budget size as capital expenditure for fiscal year 2021. The capital expenditure was constituted as follows: administrative sector, 87,790,330,11.37 crore. Economic sector, 105,077,364,248 naira 81 kobo. Law and justice, 1,742,906,000. Social sector, 132 billion 656 million 33,322 naira 35 kobo. Deductions and repayments 38 billion. Limited resources hinder our drive for delivery of projects and services. We are undaunted in our vision and focus to build a new and prosperous river state. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, what we do with our capital expenditure holds the key to the level of progress and prosperity we envisage for our state and our people. Accordingly, we intend to deploy our capital budget for 2021 fiscal year to advance economic growth and social progress, infrastructural development, human capital development, education, health care, security, and social investment, economic growth, and social progress. Investment in economic growth will result in substantial social progress and a better quality of life for citizens. In this budget, we have provided over 6 billion naira to stimulate economic growth through investments in commerce, culture, and tourism, mineral resource development, as well as address environmental challenges to improve the quality of life of all citizens. We have also provided 13 billion 861 million 407,451 naira 97 kobo to fund various social and economic investment schemes to support the development of small and medium-scale businesses in our efforts to create jobs and reduce poverty. Besides, we shall provide a special fund to support our youths to get their business ideas off the ground, enhance existing businesses, and assuage the prevailing economic hardship being experienced by the vulnerable ones among us. Agriculture. The economic challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic clearly expose our vulnerability to food insecurity. As a state, we cannot be successful if we cannot provide the food and nutrition that we need to survive and be healthy from our fertile land resources. Also, no other economic subsector can provide countless employment opportunities as commercial agriculture. We are therefore willing to support the development of sustainable agriculture to create jobs for teaching youths and ensure food security. The sum of 16 billion 107 million 80,000 naira to embark on targeted investments in the agricultural value chain will fully complete the Rivers Cassava Processing Company to stimulate a cassava revolution in the state for both domestic and international consumption. We shall assess the central bank funded agricultural programs, concession all government farms, and encourage youths to take to profitable agriculture instead of searching for non-existent white-collar jobs. Road infrastructure. The sum of over 82 billion 957 million 295,248 naira 81 kobo has been provided to fund the provision. We will deploy this money on both new and ongoing roads, education, healthcare projects, and ensure that most are completed and put to use within 2020 and 2021. The following are some roads. We could not mention, or we can't mention all the roads, and some roads and other projects to be completed or started under the 2021 capital budget. The flyovers at the Coronado, GRA Junction, Romola, Romoba, Abali, and Ikoku Tazikiwe Street flyover. The dualization of Ezimbu to Ken Sarawuwa Road. The dualization of Ogunabali Road. The dualization of Tobi extension to Kore Road. Ebwema to Omok to Ebwema, and the dualization of Eastern Bypass Road, which is ongoing. The construction of first phase of Trans-Calabari Road with the People's Corporation. The first phase of the Port Harcourt Ring Road, the construction of Ojoku Internal Roads, Odeku Oyiwa Road Bridge, and Ola Ehuda Odoku Aminibuko Ubeta Iwechi Odereke Road, Ogoni Anthony Opopo Yinchi Road, Rumuji Iba Obele Isobo Road, Ogu Wakama Road, Ndiama Okaki Road, Oyibo Obiche Road, Okochi Internal Road Phase 2, Opopo Internal Roads, Ngo Internal Roads, Ababu Omudioga Egbeda Road, Umodogo 1 and 2 roads, Amoko Alegu Kigene Odoburu Road, Odofo, Aboko Umoye Road, Okoboko Okehi Oboka Road, Mbosmini Mbodeya Road, Emoluk Ogbeden Road in Abua, Okobo Emesu Road in Abua, Mwekara Kono Road, that is to complete the Sabua Bori, then to Kono organization. Umoba, Umuburubu, Umweke, Umuju, Umerechi, Iberi Link Road. Other projects to be executed include Abonima, Obonoma, San Filling and Reclamation, Bakana, San Filling and Reclamation, Okreka, San Filling and Reclamation, and Marine-based jetty. Education. For us, quality public education remains the key to breaking cycles of poverty. Every well-educated person has the potential to make a significant difference in the lives of their kids and family. We're already tackling the deficiencies in our school system, including the shortage of teachers in our primary and secondary schools across the state. Although a good number of schools have been rebuilt, renovated, or under the construction, there's still a lot to be done. We have therefore provided in the 2021 budget the sum of 30 billion naira only to continue to reconstruct existing schools, boost infrastructure, enhance access and retention rates, and improve educational outcomes in our schools throughout the state. While efforts will be made to complete the ongoing schools, we shall nevertheless kickstart the reconstruction of the following schools: Okrika Grammar School, Government Secondary School, Eneka, KCC Marywood, Ascension High School, Comprehensive High School, Alisa, Ngo Secondary School, Umapara Community Secondary School, and Ahuda Gears High School. Besides making provision to support our tertiary institutions to boost their infrastructure and faculty, we have also provided for the takeoff of the new campuses of the Rivers State University at Emohua, Ahuda, and Iche, as well as directed the revitalization of the university's agric-based One campus. We also approved new faculty buildings for the Faculty of Basic Clinical Sciences, Faculty of Clinical Sciences, and the Department of Pathology of the College of Medical Sciences of the Rivers State University. We will also start the reconstruction, as promised, of two 900-bed hostels and the 1,500 human capacity auditorium for the Yenigua campus of Nigerian Law School. Healthcare. In this budget, we have provided 25,111,728,000 naira only for healthcare delivery services for 2021. Here, we focus on completing the 4 zonal referral hospitals at Ahuda, Bodi, Degema, Okehi, and Omoko. Renovate and revive the Professor Kelsey Harrison Hospital, as well as the Dental and Maxillofacial Hospital. Build a specialist hospital for the treatment of cancer, kidney, and cardiovascular diseases. And renovate the dilapidated primary health centers across the state to enable them to deliver primary health care to the people. Security. The 2021 budget also prioritizes security and sustains the existing efforts in combating insecurity and keeping residents safe and secure. We will continue to support the security agencies with equipment and logistics they require to perform their duties to protect lives and property. We will also continue to invest in strengthening the criminal justice system by ensuring prompt and effective prosecution of criminal cases to enhance public peace and security. We will also restore the state's Neighborhood Safety Court Agency, deliver a new courthouse for the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, complete the judicial estate for judges of the National Industrial Court and the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt, and complete the House of Assembly residential quarters. Conclusion. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, this is yet another moment in our history where we need to discharge our duties to deliver on our mandates. Government cannot effectively function and deliver results for our people without funds and consolidated disbursement plan. The fiscal year 2021 budget is a composite monetary plan to enable us to continue to deliver our vision for building a new and prosperous river state. The budget is substantially balanced with ample incentives to stimulate economic growth, deliver socio-economic infrastructure, and advance our collective progress. It is on this note, Mr. Speaker, that I present before you the fiscal year 2021 budget of River State for the consideration of this House. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless our dear state.
Thank you, Your Excellency. On this note, may I urge you to lay the budget estimate for 2021 on the table. Your Excellency, the very able governor of River State, Nyesom, Wike. Distinguished colleagues, let me go down memory lane. Your Excellency, recall that in 2015, when you first ascended the throne, you did 217 days as governor between then and the end of 2015. In 2016, you did 366 days. In 2017, you did 365 days. In 2018, you did 365 days. In 2019, you did 365 days. In 2020, as at today, you have done 337 days. That comes to 2,015 days in office as governor of River State. The reason I'm able to give these statistics is simple. That whatever decision you take is one that either elevates or encourages the spirit of the people and the state, or it discourages the spirit and the people of the state, the spirit of the people and that of the state. But I have seen, with the benefit of hindsight and all that you have presented over the years, that you are one that encourages and elevates the people of the state, their spirit, and the state itself. We are not in doubt as to your presentation because we are seeing what you are doing. Let me say this, that Maya Angelou, when she wrote about why cage birds will always sing song, she stated, and I quote, that a bird sings a song not because it has an answer, but because it has a song to sing. As an assembly, we have a song to sing because we have you as one who delivers on promises. Today, it might not be known to all. You know that there is a particular trend when you refer to the public. You have two types of public. You have the attentive public and the general public. The attentive public in every population is less than 10%. And the other one, you talk about the general public. We are following what you are doing, and we will continue as an assembly, the Ninth Assembly, to encourage you. You have read out what you have done, especially the 2020 budget. The difficulties associated with the pandemic that came in between. Notwithstanding, you have been able to carry on. This is what leadership is all about. A leader that can take decisions even in the most difficult moment in the history of a people. That is the kind of leadership you provide. Let me also say this in my remark, loud and clear, that there is no society that moves from domesticated life to foraging. Every progressive society moves from foraging to domesticated life because domesticated life has quality and civilization. What you are doing for the state is symptomatic, and it epitomizes exactly the transition from traditional society to modernity. And as an assembly, we pray and we hope that all that you are doing will stand the test of time. Generation yet unborn will also come to acknowledge you. As a leader, we encourage you, you continue. The focus in the 2021 estimates, which you have presented, quite encouraging. You have talked about food security. You have talked about education for our children. You have talked about generating employment for our teeming youth. The recent NSAS protest is a pointer to the fact that society and government must listen to the yearnings and aspirations of the people, especially the youth. Looking at the demography, there is a huge population in terms of youth and not the elderly. So any government that is responsive and responsible must provide for the youth. And you have done that with the presentation that you have made. But let me say this, that providing for education means we want to attain a higher quality. Encouraging our children to go to school is key to achieving their destiny, our common destiny that we want to achieve tomorrow. That is exactly what your government is doing. You have targeted budget of recovery and consolidation. Yes, because of the experience, the global downturn, economic recession that we are in now, we need to recover the losses. There are lost grounds which we must recover and also consolidate, because Rivers State, in terms of infrastructure for future development, we have taken up under your watch. There is no one that will say that you are not doing it, except for the pathological fault finders, who will not at all times see anything good in any human. I urge you, on behalf of the 9th Rivers State House of Assembly, to continue in this stride. The estimate of over 400 billion That is how you assess a leader who wants to develop and help his society. Of over 400 billion, you have recurrent expenditure of over 140 billion. Then the other one is capital expenditure of over 300 billion. That is the way to go. Because no society eats all that it has, and you think you can prosper. You are saving and developing the state for the future, not eating up everything at the same time. Your Excellency, on behalf of members, principal officers and members of Rivers State House of Assembly, let me thank you and encourage you that the God that brought you to this position will also continue to oversee and protect you, not minding the challenges that will come, which we have also been seeing, but in all, you will overcome. Let me assure you, because God does not fail. You have relied on God heavily from inception to date. And I have not read anywhere God has failed anyone who trusts in him. This is our message from you. But let me conclude by telling you this short story, that as our assembly members will always stand by you. There is this short story between a good farmer whose name was Friday and the dove. Each time he will plant his cornfield, during harvest, seasonally, the doves will always come and harvest instead of Friday. Mr. Friday, at a point, now decided to set a trap. When he did that, he caught one of the doves. When he caught the doves, the dove pleaded with Friday not to slaughter it, that it had 3 things to tell him. And Friday said, go ahead. What did the dove tell Mr. Friday? First, the dove told Mr. Friday that anything that is not in your hand, that is elsewhere, don't call it your own, because it's not in your hand, it's not your own. Anything that is in your hand, hold it tight. Do not allow it to go away, because that one that is in your hand is your hand. Then the third one, before the dove was able to tell Mr. Friday the third one, Friday couldn't hold the dove strongly, and the dove flew away. Mr. Friday was looking at the dove on top of the tree, asking the dove to come back. The dove was now asking Friday a question. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Friday couldn't answer, but the dove replied by saying that, I told you that anything that is not in your hand is not your own. Don't call it your own. But anyone that is in your hand, hold it tight so that it does not leave your hand. Your Excellency, I want to assure you that Rivers State House of Assembly, the Ninth Assembly, we are holding you tight because you are in our hand. And that is why we will continue to support you and ensure that you succeed and your government succeeds. Having said that, distinguished colleagues, let me, on behalf of all of us, congratulate the governor for all that he has been doing for the state. It is uncommon. We have been witnesses how successive government had done in the state. And under his watch, we are also witnesses today. Your Excellency, I want to tell you that God will continue to be with you. And because of what you are doing and what we are seeing, this House, after today, is going to move in committee of the whole to check all that is going on within the city. Because the city is having a new look, a transformation. The other day I attended a program of the Chamber of Commerce, Nigerian Chamber of Commerce. Her Excellency was in attendance. The president of the Chamber of Commerce all over Nigeria acknowledged the fact that Rivers State has changed. The change, not the negative type, but the positive type. My happiness was heightened, my spirit rejuvenated. That is the kind of leadership you provide. On behalf of members of Rivers State House of Assembly, today is 2nd of December, and I know you are not visiting again. And we are holding you tight because you are the one we have in our hand. We wish you, we know that Christmas is far some weeks away from now, but we wish you a Merry Christmas in advance, knowing that we'll continue to do this work on behalf of our people, on behalf of the state. Thank you, and may God bless us all. Majority Leader. Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency the Governor has accomplished his mission to this August Assembly, which is to lay before this August Assembly the 2021 appropriation bill tagged the Budget of Recovery and Consolidation. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I move that His Excellency and his entourage be now granted leave to leave the hallowed chambers, and in doing so, Mr. Speaker, that we do stand down the House to enable honorable members have a good photograph with His Excellency and his entourage. I so move.
Deputy Leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I have a second the double motions moved by the leader. I so second.
Sergeant at Arms. Hold on, sir. Let me stand down here.